Hey guys, welcome to this week's adventuring tip, the first adventuring tip of 2021. Guys, welcome to the new year. D20 Academy has a lot of really cool, fun things planned for this year, so look out for all those as they keep coming. I do apologize for skipping the past few weeks, not doing any adventuring tips. I've been spending the holidays with my family, but we're back on 2021. We'll be doing these things weekly, hopefully, if I can keep on that schedule. But today we're talking about the 3 C's of thrillers. Now, if you are someone who's creating some kind of thriller story, maybe you're writing a film script or writing a novel, or maybe you're creating a thriller arc for your next tabletop role-playing game, maybe you're playing D&D or whatever it is, and you want to do kind of more of a thriller arc. That's what we're talking about today, making good thrillers. Now, if you are into thrillers, you may know about the author Dan Brown. He's a very famous thriller author. He wrote books such as The Da Vinci Code, The Lost Symbol, things like that. I've read a ton of his books. Fantastic stuff, just like good classic thrillers that you just keep on reading, that you just can't put down. Really awesome. But he talks about these 3 C's of thrillers that he has come up with. I'm going to share with you today that are really cool, that really are kind of the foundation of what makes a thriller a thriller. Now, the first one is the contract. Now, the contract is something that the author or the storyteller makes with the audience, whether it's the people watching the movie or the people reading the novel or the players at the table. And basically what the contract is a promise you make to the audience. If you consume this story, you will find out this piece of information. You'll find out who committed the murder, who framed the protagonist, whatever it is. The contract is really powerful and really important in keeping your audience engaged. They want to know the answer to this question or multiple questions. Who did the thing? Who is the thing? Who's the secret identity of the thing? That is all wrapped up in the contract. That's something that the storyteller is making with the audience to say, hey, if you keep reading, if you keep playing, if you make the right choices, within this adventure, you will find out the answer to these questions. And just make sure that you do fulfill the contract, that you don't set up anything that you don't actually eventually pay off, that you only set up questions that you will eventually answer. So that's number one, very important, is the contract. The next C is the crucible, and Dan Brown explains this as something that holds everything together, that keeps everything contained. It doesn't let characters escape. That there's only one way out of this, and this way is filled with obstacles. So some way to keep the characters of the story, the main characters of the story, contained, trapped, and there's only one way out. There's only one way to go, and that way is just filled with obstacles and danger. But you know what? Overcoming those obstacles is what makes the hero heroic. You want to make sure there's no plot holes. No way the character can just go, well, I don't really need to do this. I can just leave. I can just walk out. No. Make it impossible. They can't walk out. They can't just do the thing. They have to do this. Whatever it is, they have to go this way. Really stick them in that crucible. One way Dan Brown does this is stick someone in a location. They're trapped in a location. Maybe it's a museum or a crypt or whatever, and there's only one way out, and that way there's an assassin blocking the door, and there's deadly traps and all kinds of stuff. The crucible, whether metaphorical or physical, is a way of keeping the characters contained. And that way you can keep the story contained and kind of following along the path that you want it to. The clock is the third C. This is just classic time pressure. The bomb is going to go off in 60 minutes. The president's going to make the call and you have to stop him before he does that, or whatever it is, right? That is the clock. Add some kind of time pressure. If there's no time pressure, the characters can just dilly-dally, take their time, get things done. But with time pressure, with some sort of clock, with some sort of countdown, you put that obvious pressure onto the characters, in the case of a tabletop role-playing game, on the players to really get the job done, to finish the quest. And this way you can also help with the pacing of your story. Whether it is a novel or even a tabletop role-playing game, sometimes those games can fall into some sort of a lull or get kind of lazy, but with time pressure you can keep the story moving, keep the players engaged, and keep that going. Those are the 3 C's of thrillers, so if you're someone who's interested in writing thrillers or just kind of wanted to know more of the foundations of storytelling, those are there for you. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to this week's adventuring tip. We got another one next Monday. We're going to do another Monster Monday for those of you who GM Dungeons & Dragons games. But yeah, make sure to listen to our podcast, D20 Academy, also on our YouTube, D20 Academy. We've got a ton of cool exclusive YouTube videos coming out there. But yeah, happy adventuring.